Okay. Hi guys. My name is David. Welcome to our fire chat session with the 3 regulated cryptocurrency exchanges in Malaysia. Now, just so you know, we will be conducting this session in a very casual manner. It's a fire chat session after all. So while we go through this, some major talking points among the 3 of us, feel free to also drop any questions that you have on Slido. I believe SC has shared a Slido link where you can go into and post questions. So please post any of your questions at any time. We will be more than happy to pick up some questions and bring back to this panel for discussions. Without further ado, let me introduce first myself. I'm David again. I'm from Luno, Malaysia. We have Kelvin Chua, who is the CEO of Synergy Technologies Sdn Bhd. Say hi, Kelvin.
Hi guys. Hi David. Hi Ki.
Yeah. We also have Hong Chi, CEO of Tokenized Technologies Sdn Bhd.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice to see you all here. Yeah.
Great. So this is so that you can see his face lah. When we speak, then I think the video moves to the front. Yeah. So 3 of us will be here conducting a good discussion, hopefully, and we hope to see a lot of interesting questions. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. We'll be more than happy to address them. Now, let's get started, right? So the title of this session is why you should trade digital assets with regulated cryptocurrency exchange in Malaysia. Now, before we go into the why don't we try and first understand what does it mean by regulated cryptocurrency exchange, right? So would Kelvin or Hong, would you guys be willing to take this up? Can you explain what does it actually mean by regulated cryptocurrency exchange in Malaysia?
Okay, you want me to go first, Hong?
Yeah, sure, Kevin, please.
All right, so to be honest, I think to be a regulated digital asset exchange as is basically, that's what SE describes it, right? Digital asset exchange is to really run a trading platform that looks after the retail investors. So the 3 of us, obviously being licensed, I think we've gone through quite a lot of paperwork and a lot of the checks and balances that SC imposed on us is always to make sure that we run a fair and orderly market. As you know, I mean, it's a very new asset class, and as also the operator of the trading platform, Securities Commission wants to ensure that while we are running the marketplace, we're also not taking advantage of our own clients. And this is basically, in short, what I think it is, right? Regulations and how. And this is one of the reasons why you guys should be trading on regulated platforms, because there are checks and balances there to protect you.
Great, thanks, Kelvin. Hong, question to you.
Sure.
So adding on to what Kelvin has mentioned, right? Now, how are unregulated digital exchanges different from regulated guys like us? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think the differences between regulated and unregulated is all about governance, right? I think the keyword is governance. For unregulated exchanges, if you check, a lot of the past case scenario is that a lot of so-called asset scam. Suddenly one day, they claim that they're being hacked and a few hundred millions is gone, and the next day they can't operate already. They are not sustainable already. Then they can just end their business like that, right? But as a regulated exchanges, if you see like 3 of us, we go through a very rigorous process, to obtain the license. And I think at the end of the day, what the regulators are very concerned is about your business continuity plan, right? How you can sustain and how if in case of any stressful scenario or unexpected scenario, how can you ensure that customer interest is being protected, right? And there's always so-called in finance we call it 4 eyes, right? There are people, check and balances. So I think that's the value, for let's say the investor to invest in regulated exchanges compared to unregulated exchanges. One where you sometimes you will have a sleepless nights, or you can't scale your investment because you don't know the next day what will happen to your fund. Right? I think that's a concern.
Great, yeah, good point. So I think in short, to summarize what Hong has mentioned, right, it's really a case of whether you want to choose to use a service that's provided by a local company who is held accountable to the laws of Malaysia as well as the enforcement agencies in Malaysia, versus using a service where it's all from overseas. And if something goes south, then who do you go to seek for redress, right? And I think I think that's basically a question that you need to ask and understand before you make a decision on which platform you want to use. Now, having said that, obviously there will always be big questions around security, right? Security of cryptocurrency exchanges has always been at the forefront of discussion among investors. How secure are regulated exchanges, though? What do you guys think compared to the unregulated exchanges?
Well, I mean, can I start first?
Yeah. Please, Kevin.
I think on the digital asset side, right? I believe we all have the same requirement, right? We have to keep a certain portion of the digital asset offline in cold storage, and that's good because that means a portion of the crypto will not be hacked, lah. And on the fiat side, basically, when it comes to Ringgit Malaysia, you know, in New York, even the exchanges there, they're actually allowed to commingle the funds. That means they can commingle company funds with client funds. So I think the way SC did it differently, and to be honest, it's probably the first time it's been done in the world, where they force a regulated trustee to be the independent third party. So, you know, if one day or so there's like 10 million ringgit in the bank, it doesn't mean that we can, you know, just take the money out to our personal name, right? So once again, back to check and balances.
Yeah, great. Hong, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I think pretty similar what Kelvin tried to highlight just now. Just to you know, re-emphasize that I think regular exchanges, I think just Malaysia jurisdictions has this special requirement that the management can't, let's say, withdraw all the asset by the company management itself, because there will be partial of the key is kept by the trustee, right? So if you need the management and also the trustee, then you are able to withdraw on the digital asset side. Then the fiat side, I think, is pretty standard, right? It's also we have a trustee structure. So I think that's really value add for the investor on that. Yeah.
Great. So to summarize what Hong and Kelvin said, right? Basically, the SC, you know, who is imposing guidelines and regulations on cryptocurrency exchanges, always ensure that there is a third-party company that basically also have oversight over customers' funds that we store in Luno, Synergy, as well as tokenized, right? So it can be both in crypto as well as your ringgit that you store with any one of us. Whereas this requirement may not be necessarily imposed on overseas exchanges. In fact, some might say that they have it, but then again, there is no regulators who goes in and check into their system to determine whether such thing ever existed or not. Whereas in our case, you know, the SC has vetted us very rigorously. In fact, it took all of us more than 6 months just to get the license in Malaysia, which is very long, just to obtain a regulated, you know, approval from the SC.
It was 6 months for you guys, but for tokenized and us, it was longer.
Yeah. So yeah, we have some questions from the audience already. It's not related to security, but I'm just gonna pose it up. It'd be great if one of you can start taking it. Sure. Do any of the digital exchange accept USD for investment or funding of the account, or do you only accept MYR, which is cheaper and better for users? And I'm assuming that you're referring to the USD that's cheaper and better for users, right? So can you guys take one of these questions?
Yeah, I think I will take first. Yeah, Chi from Tokenized here. So at least for Tokenized at this juncture for Malaysia side, we only accept ringgit. We do not accept US dollar for now. Yeah, understand that US dollar is currently the biggest liquidity, right? That a lot of people are using US dollar to trade crypto. But unfortunately, at this juncture, we only support ringgit. Yeah.
Great. Kelvin, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, we actually did try to onboard USD fiat currency. The truth is, because Malaysia is a capital control country, and because of that, it is not so straightforward, because the moment we talk about USD, then Bank Negara Malaysia comes into play. And it's not so straightforward. So for now, I think we're going to stick purely to MYR only. And hopefully in the future, if the central bank is more flexible, then perhaps we can offer it. But for now, just purely MYR.
Great, thank you. I'm going to move on straight to the next question. Now, what are the main benefits and why should an investor consider cryptocurrency as an investment, being that it's still a new and nascent industry?
Okay, you want me to take this up first?
Yeah,
Kelvin, please.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, so alternative asset class. I'm sure everyone has heard that, crypto is like kind of like digital gold and whatnot. I think personally for me, with the three RMOs that you see here, Luno, Synergy, and Tokenize, right? We each have our own specialty lah. I think Luno is very focused on like getting Bitcoin to the mainstream market. Tokenize, Chi here he understands the crypto market very well. He's a CTO and also CEO. For Synergy, we're more focused on the trading side of things, right? So, I mean, one thing's for sure, I can't tell you where Bitcoin is going to be in 5 or 10 years, but I can tell you that it's going to be a very volatile asset class. And because of that, volatility creates opportunity, and that's why I think everyone should trade it. And it's true, I guess you could say that, Bitcoin has no fundamental, but because it doesn't have fundamental, if you take a look at the trading strategies that is being applied in the crypto world, it is simple strategies like arbitrage. And even a 20-year-old kid will know how to execute them. So I think for me, when I started a journey 3 years ago, I actually, once I discovered crypto, I never looked back. And I think everyone should at least take a closer look, right? And see for yourself.
Yeah.
Great. Hong, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, just some add on. I think Bitcoin until now already have 11 years kind of track record and history. But I just want to pinpoint a bit on this year development, because I think it's a very exciting development that listed company like in US, like MicroStrategy, they really invest like 425 million. Previously, I think last week when I do some sharing, I mean, what I understand is only 250 million, but I think they top out already to 425 million US dollars. So that's like $500 million investment that a listed company willing to use the company, to invest in Bitcoin. I think that's a huge testimonial for this new asset class and this new industry. That's why I think now is really a good time to relook again on investment like crypto, like Bitcoin, right? And aside of that, we have Square, and recently, I think just past few days, one of the UK listed company also joined the party and putting 10% of their cash reserve to invest in crypto like Bitcoin, right? So I think this is a huge improvement, huge perception change from the old money to this, so-called our industry new money. And one last thing to add on is also the JP Morgan. I remember, when we started Tokenize, JP Morgan tell the public that, tell their clients that Bitcoin is a scam, right? Is something that is going to go away in 1-2 years time. And now they changed that. They say Bitcoin is a new asset class that's as competitive as gold and silver, the precious metal. So I think that's a huge endorsement, man. And I think that's why, audience who are watching this should really relook and, put your time and research on this new investment trend. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to add on to what Hong and Kelvin has said, right? I think the main benefits is at the end of the day lies in the why. Why do people use, asset class such as Bitcoin to perform certain transactions, right? Now, Kelvin has mentioned that there are arbitrage opportunities. So people use it purely from a speculative perspective. They see opportunities where there isn't a standardized price across the market globally. And that creates arbitrage opportunities even by a 2 to 3% on a day-to-day basis. And it allows people to make money very, very quickly, right? By just buying here, selling to the other side of the exchange, rolling the money back to the account, and then repeat that process. And this is actually a very, very profitable venture by a lot of companies or individuals around the world. And we've seen that trend growing very, very strongly over the past few years. Now, there's also a few other whys why cryptocurrency has benefits and why the demand has been going up, right? So there are 1,000+ cryptocurrencies around the world, but we're just going to focus on Bitcoin because it has the most market capitalization globally, and it has consistently grown in market cap over a 2 to 3 year rolling period. Simply because there are benefits that the underlying technology brings about, right? So if you've heard of the terminology called blockchain, it allows people to perform transactions between two different parties without having a middleman involved. Now, what it essentially means is that the middle party cost is reduced because there's no middle party. Transactions are validated by peers, and in some cases, we call it miner. And that has allowed people to move money across the world very, very cheaply. So, for example, if you just use Bitcoin and you want to, if you just use ringgit, right? You want to wire ringgit from this part of the world to, let's say, the other side of the world in, let's say, London, you typically be paying about 2 to 3% in transaction costs on an average of about $2,000 to $3,000 US, right, per transaction. just to the middle parties like banks and Swift, right? For them to perform these transactions and validation. Whereas if you use Bitcoin, it costs less than, depending on traffic, but it costs less than 50 cents USD, right? To wire, and is not determined by the value of the transaction as well, right? So you can wire, let's say 100K, cost the same amount. If you wire 300K, cost a similar amount as well, right? It doesn't go up with the value of transaction. And because of that, a lot of people have actually used cryptocurrency to also move money around the world, simply because it's just cheaper and more cost efficient to do so. Then there's also a lot of other sexy use cases that cryptocurrency has started to pop up over the past few years. And something that you can also look forward to is the SC's IEO guideline, which will be enforced sometime this quarter, where basically it allows companies to start looking at how they can raise funds with cryptocurrency as well. So we can go on and on for the whole day on what benefits Bitcoin can bring, and the conversation can go on for the whole week if you talk about every single different coin and their use cases. But generally, it's really the technology, right? The technology that basically brings a lot of these cost-efficient savings, benefits, efficiency to the way you move funds and invest, that drives the value of cryptocurrency up on a year-to-year basis. And that data don't lie. All you need to do is just to go to CoinGecko's website, coingecko.com. You look at Bitcoin's market capitalization as well as price on a 2 to 3 year rolling basis, and the line has always been consistently moving upwards. And this is the precise reason why it has been moving upwards. So again, do read more, because there's a lot more stuff involved in crypto, and we'll be more than happy to tackle that if we have other time. So I'm going to move on to the next question, because we suddenly have a lot of questions flooding in.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, so, which is great. So
I think that the first question now is about Luno. David, you maybe want to answer it.
So I'd rather not cover Luno question directly, because I think this is a question that's shared by three other players. But please add me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to answer you on LinkedIn on specific Luno related question.
Sure.
So, okay, let me find a more generic question that everyone can answer. Is it a good time to invest in crypto now? You guys want to take that?
Yeah, maybe I take that first. I get that questions really often through live show and few events. So my always stand is that, if you look at the long term, right, any time point of now, it's really a good entry for Bitcoin, because you are holding at it long term, right? And I always like to use this analogy that just think that now Bitcoin, investing in Bitcoin or any other crypto, right? We use those approved by Security Commission, which is the 4: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and also the Litecoin, right? As like we are in 2001, we look at the companies, right? Apple, Google, right? And Amazon, right? And you now have a second chance to go back to that time to reinvest, to invest on those companies. We will want to do that. So that's always the question I like to pose to the audience. So yeah, I guess that's my analogy and my thoughts that I can share with the audience. How about you guys, Kevin, David? Yeah.
I think we all will say the same thing also, which is put between 1% to 3% of your net worth, right? Use a dollar cost averaging approach. So just like set some money aside every month, right? You don't need to worry about where it's trading right now, because using a dollar cost averaging approach, you will get like an average price after you buy over time, right? So that's a good way to get started, definitely. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my journey into crypto has forced me to be more like basically keep my security level for my laptop, for my mobile phone. Everything is like so high right now. So I feel that it's quite an interesting journey, So now like I just am super, because I've been SimJack before, right? So now I use like password keeping app to make sure that all my passwords are not the same, So it's quite an interesting world to come into, personally.
Yeah, interesting. So I think this leads to the next question, right? Which I can take also, right? Lenny asks, is crypto a short-term investment or a long-term investment? Now, I think all of us will agree that it's always important to take a long-term view to any investment. It can be like your Bitcoin, your ringgit, or whatever investment you're making in Malaysia, right? Be it commodity or even stocks, right? Always take a long-term approach. If you take a short-term view, then you're more likely to be swayed by the price volatility, right? Whereas if you take your time to really understand the technology, its use cases, and why the demand has been going up, then you tend to be making a lot more objective in terms of decision making, and you also be making a better decision in how you want to invest your money as well, right? And something to also point out, Bitcoin traditionally has always had low correlation to other asset class, which is why Bitcoin has become a lot interesting for fund managers, especially from overseas in the US, to look at it as a way to also hedge their portfolios against more traditional assets, such as the stock market, right? Because when there's a study being done, which I'm happy to share if you guys reach out, done by a really good research company, right? That's actually shown that whenever the market moves, Bitcoin actually moves, like, has a very, very low correlation. It doesn't move as much as how other market react to the global world. So so that's something to worth consider from the investment perspective. Okay, the next question is, hold on, there's a lot of questions here. I'm trying to look through.
Thank you for saying, guys.
Oh, yeah, great questions. So there's a question by Anthony who asks, are there trustees involved to protect investors' rights? We covered this a little bit just now, but maybe we can reiterate this point again.
Yeah, so Anthony, to answer your question, yes, we use a regulated trustee to basically monitor the fiat transaction, which is actually in Ringgit Malaysia. So basically how it works is, to summarize it, when that bank account is actually open, but they have the authorizing rights, we only have the viewing rights. That means when it comes time to actually withdraw money from the bank account to client's account, the withdrawing rights actually belongs to them. It doesn't belong to us. And there's also a similar process that happens on the digital asset side. Basically, we will require their signature before we can move funds out from the core wallet, which is essentially a device that never touches the internet, which is why it can't be hacked.
Okay, great. I'm going to move on to the next question. Maybe Hong, you can take the next one.
Sure.
And it's a very good question. Why does the three platform, Luno, Synergy, and Tokenize, why does the price of crypto differ?
Oh, okay, interesting. So I can't really check the question yet, but let me answer. I think the idea also, like what David tried to share about arbitrage, right, is that every exchanges, no matter just Malaysia or globally, the price is based on the supply and demand of the user. So for example, the user in Tokenize might differ with Luno and Synergy, right? That's why the supply and demand will be differ. For example, maybe on our side, there are more buying momentum. And for let's say for Luno side, maybe there is more selling momentum, right? So, which means that our side, there will be more buying pressure that cause the prices is a bit more expensive, and for Luno might be cheaper. So if you want to sell at our side, maybe you will get a better price. But if you want to buy crypto, maybe Luno is a better platform. But these prices not behave permanently, right? It behave day to day, where the prices can be differ because the so-called the sentiment might be different, right? Yeah, I think that's my way of explanation. How about you, Kevin? You have any way to better explain this?
Definitely, because of supply and demand on each platform is different, right? So as most of you know, Luno is like the first mover in Malaysia, and obviously they have the majority of the volume. But Tokenize and us, we're still very new. And we're trying to get more users, and therefore there might be a price difference simply because the supply and demand is not the same. And that's the part where we hope those of you who are interested in crypto will start to observe and hopefully take advantage of the price difference, right? Come on, sign up with us, take advantage of the prices on three platforms, There's clearly money to be made there.
Yeah, so to add on that, right, I think the easiest way to understand it is that three exchanges, we operate our own order book, which is why demand and supply works differently in each three exchanges, right? And there are traders in Malaysia who are very, very smart enough to take advantage of the price difference between three exchanges. So if they see, let's say, Synergy or Tokenize having a higher price, then they will basically buy there, sell in Luno, right? And vice versa, they can also do the same thing across three platforms, which is the beauty of the industry, because arbitrage has actually created a lot of short-term opportunities for traders to make money very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe another way we can look at it is that just imagine like selling fruits or durians, right? Like you can be the same Mao Samang, right? But different operators selling different Mao Samang price, right? So yeah, maybe we
Musang King.
Musang King, yeah, Musang King durian. So the kind of analogy,
Yeah. Okay. We have a next question from TC. TC asks, can you briefly explain the transaction process for a new investor? Now, maybe I can rephrase this. Can one of you briefly explain how a new cryptocurrency investor can get into their hands on buying cryptocurrency?
Hong,
Yeah.
you want me?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, if you want, yeah,
Okay.
you can start first.
So first thing that you need to do is you come on to either one of our platforms, right? So there's three, Luno, Synergy, or Tokenize. First thing you do is you sign up with your email, and then you will go through a process which we call KYC, know your customer. And because crypto functions like money, there's a lot more checks in terms of KYCs to prevent things like money laundering. So all platforms, I believe, have the same feature where we will force you to do a proof of identity, which most of us Malaysians will just use our Malaysian IC. And then the second step is to do your proof of residence. You can accept utility bills or even credit card or bank statements. After that, the admin on our side will basically check through everything, and then once your account is approved, you can then start trading. Obviously, you will need to deposit your money from your personal bank account to our bank account, and then we will approve the deposit. And then once the MYR is in your account, which is pretty instantaneous, especially in this age of instant transfer, right? So it's actually pretty fast, right? And you transfer the money in, and then the admin approves the deposit, and then you're on your way to buying your first Bitcoin.
Great. Great. I don't think Hong has anything else to add, right? It's pretty.
Yeah, I think all good. Yeah, I just maybe later after during our end of our discussion, maybe we can all share our social media, because I think some of the questions might require more time to explain. So the good way is keep in touch with us through our social media.
Yeah.
Then if we have any webinar, just jump in. It will be free. Then you can get more knowledge from there. Yeah.
Yeah. All three of us are on LinkedIn, by the way. So you just need to search our name with the company, then you find us. You can ask then company specific questions to any one of us. So we have another question. What cryptocurrency will be next regulated in Malaysia? Any idea, guys?
Let me roll a dice. I think you guys would have a better answer on that, right?
Hong, you want to take this tough question?
Sorry, check again. What is the question again? Sorry.
What cryptocurrency will be introduced next in all our platforms?
For us, right, we are still trying to get Litecoin approved. So maybe David, who already get Litecoin approved, can help us to shed some light. What is the fifth one? I think is it Bitcoin Cash, David? Are you guys still looking on Bitcoin Cash, or you guys actually move on from
Yeah, I think that's something that we're looking to, obviously. But I think if I dare speak for all of us here, it really depends on regulators. At the end of the day, we each will usually submit the same popular coins, let's call it that way, the top 5 or top 10 market cap coins most demanded by Malaysians, and we get this sense from our customers who always ask us about it. So hopefully we can introduce a lot more major cryptocurrencies, for Malaysian investors to consider as a form of investment as well. So the short answer to that is that we don't know until SC approves it. Okay. So I think Adib has another question. He asks, is crypto reliable to be considered for a long-term investment? I think we've tackled this earlier. But more importantly, what are the plaguing issues that highly likely affect the crypto industry as a form of investment in Malaysia? What do you guys think?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What are the plaguing issues? What are the issues that are affecting the industry that potentially affects us in terms of growth and demand in Malaysia in the short run or the long run?
External factors.
I mean, I think we are from Penang, so as most of you might be aware, that there's a lot of Ponzi operators that come from the northern part of Malaysia, right? So here, when we go out and we tell someone who's 50, 60 years old, we say we're in the Bitcoin business, the immediate association is that they think that we're part of this Ponzi thing, right? And it doesn't happen to other RMOs, because if you are an equity crowdfunding platform, right, or a peer-to-peer financing platform, you would still be transacting on a transaction layer that is using Paynet, right? So you still need your instant transfer to send money and whatnot. But precisely because crypto is a transaction layer itself, right? The blockchain is a reliable transaction layer itself, and that's why a lot of these operators choose to use crypto to onboard these users, and it's not so straightforward, right? Because they're not really using bank accounts by any of the local banks, and so I think that's one of the reasons why, because a lot of these so-called bad actors have made a bad name for crypto, and the three of us will have to basically clean this up, lah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I maybe will give a bit different perspective. I think the questions I understand is to gear toward more concern on the investment in crypto. But I just want to reverse and take a step back to talk about macroeconomic and finance that the world is experiencing right now. Right? And I think most of the audience here understand that US is printing the money like crazy this year, right? If we want to put an analogy, is that this past half a year, how the US has printed the US dollar compared to the mortgage crisis, GFC in 2008, the great financial crisis, until the following few years is equivalent or already surpassed the kind of printing money rate, right? So this is why I think as an investor, it's very important for us to find an asset class that is interesting and also has a high potential that able to hedge the inflation. So I'm coming from the angle where no matter you like it or not, I think external environment has influence one way or another, no matter Malaysia or any other country. So as a investor, I think it's very important to look into asset class like crypto, Bitcoin, and start to do some planning and hedge the upcoming inflation, or it's already ongoing inflation. I think that's my view. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to add on to that, but I think there are also two other questions that are very, very similar. So for example, someone asks, why are there so many scams in crypto? Another person asks, how do we differentiate between a real investment and a scammy investment in crypto? So I'll take these two. I think to add on to what Kelvin has said, right? Scams is highly prevalent in the crypto industry. A lot of people wonder why, right? It's because it's so easy to use the technology, right? The ease of use of the technology is so easy that anyone can access it. As long as you have a laptop, you have internet, you can actually just go to a website and create your own coin as easy as which is they lay down the steps very, very easily as 1, 2, 3, right? So that ease of technology has allowed a lot of scammers to also take advantage of, similar to how technology such as WhatsApp or Facebook came about, right? It has driven a lot of use case for us. It allows us to connect, it allows us to socialize, but also has allowed a lot of scammers to also use it for free to scam people. It's as easy as that, right? And because of that, it has created a big challenge for three of us, especially here, where we have a lot of customers coming to us and telling us that they have been scammed and they were guaranteed certain form of investment, but they didn't get their Bitcoin back, right? So then how do we discern between what is real and what is not? It's very easy from my perspective. If you want to buy cryptocurrency, just buy it from the regulated platforms, and you also should check out Securities Commission's website, the investor alert list. They have also listed a lot of companies who you need to be careful about, right? So that's something that you need to be aware of, right? At the end of the day, you want to buy from someone who's licensed and someone who's not licensed. And if someone comes to you and say that I can sell you some Bitcoin as a form of investment, the first question you should always ask them is, are you regulated? Can you show me proof of that regulation or license? I think that's the best way to safeguard yourself against scams. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Can I transfer my digital assets between and across the 3 platforms?
Yes.
Hong, you want to take this first?
Yeah. I think the answer is definitely yes, and we are really welcome, that, because as I think we already repeat twice, there's always arbitrage opportunity where there's always place that you can buy low and you can sell high among 3 of us. So yeah, the answer is yes.
Great. There's a question by Selina. Where can I get a guide video how to use your platform? There's a couple of questions who asked about how do I get started. Very easy again. I think all 3 of us have our own website, Luno, Tokenize, as well as Synergy. You can just visit any of our website to get more learning materials. We have a lot of basic materials, for example, from Bitcoin 101 to what is Bitcoin, to what's the use case, to how to get started as well, that you can read and understand. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. We have a lot of questions. So let me pick a good one.
Yeah,
okay.
I also help to answer one of the question.
Sure.
Which are the 4 currently the cryptocurrency already recognized or regulated by SC? So I just stuck out and everyone can have a look. Yeah.
Okay, great. Lim Chinhua has a question. Profit from crypto investment, does it need to be declared as a personal tax?
Capital gain tax free.
Capital gain free.
Capital gain tax free, like shares. Okay, like shares. Capital gain tax free.
Yeah. So the official answer from all of us is basically there hasn't been any official guideline from LHDN yet. Please do your homework. You can go to the LHDN website to find out for more info, but there's currently no official guideline being published by LHDN. But that might change. So now is a good time to look into it. Okay, next question, is crypto Sharia compliant?
That's a good one.
Yep.
So I think that also really thanks to Security Commission Malaysia, right? They already published quite actively past few months that cryptocurrency is Sharia compliance, right? And there are 3 exchanges is Sharia compliance also, which Luno, Synergy, and Tokenize, which is very clearly articulated by them. So you guys can just Google or go to Security Commission Malaysia website and have a look. So this is not 3 of us, we try to endorse it and, because we are the operator, but it's really the regulators has come a very clear statement on that. Yeah.
Okay. Kelvin, you have anything to add, or you want me to move to the next one?
Can move to the next one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So there's a question relating to money laundering and terrorism financing. How does the platform prevent or mitigate risks of money laundering and terrorism financing?
Well, I'm very surprised to see this question.
Probably someone from Bank Negara.
Oh my God.
Okay. Go on. Do you want me to get it?
Yeah, sure. Kevin.
Okay, so
maybe later can add on. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure all 3 of us we use, or in Synergy's case, we use an external vendor. So basically, once you sign on, we have your personal details, and we will run real-time checks against like the United Nations sanction list to make sure that you're not like a politically exposed person and so on. So all this is actually done by an external vendor, and I'm quite certain all 3 of us are using something similar.
Hong, you want to go next, or you want me to come in to explain?
Yeah, I think maybe I just touch up a bit. I think just want to add on, when you register in any 3 of us platform, why is it there's a hassle for you to actually submit some of your identification document, even your bank statement or your proof of address, all those documents, is because these are the measure that we take, the money laundering or TF and also PF or CF, all these things seriously, is to mitigate all these risks, to give all the audience here, a safe and trustworthy place to invest, right? This is why there are a lot of hassle, just like other financial institutions, to collect your documents, and we take your document and privacy seriously, right? So, but this is all our measure to mitigate all these risks. Yeah. I will hand over to David.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add on a lot to give a lot more meat to what Hong and Kelvin had said, right? Just so you know, if you look at BNM Sector 6 policy on digital currencies, as well as SC's guideline on digital assets, we are obliged to first conduct KYC, know your customer. So we have to collect a lot of personal information. We also have to screen our customers who sign up with us against any blacklist, sanction lists, adverse media, and whatnot, to make sure that we don't allow bad actors to sign up and use our platform. And third, we also ensure that we continuously conduct transaction monitoring as well, right? Which is an obligation placed on us. What it means is that we need to constantly monitor transactions in and out of our platforms to make sure that no dirty money flows into our platform, and investors are not buying Bitcoin or transacting in ringgit, receiving ringgit from potentially illegal or illicit activities, right? So the benefit to using regular platform is precisely this, right? If you trade with us, you have the safeguard and you have the peace of mind, that if you're trading on any of our platforms, there's no dirty money involved, and you will not one day get called up for any potential illegal investigation, right? And that's something that's actually very, very important to consider. Moving on to the next question. This is an interesting one. Is the current law sufficient to regulate the cryptocurrency industry as a whole? This is a very good one. So you guys want to take it up?
Okay. I mean, depending on, regionally, right? Obviously, for Thailand, it was a royal decree. And I think over there, because it's a royal decree, people take it a lot more seriously. And I noticed that peer-to-peer trading platforms don't flourish there. So a lot of the volume is actually happening on the exchange level. Also, I believe the exchanges there are actually given more freedom to list the tokens that they want to list. And currently on the Malaysian side, to be honest, I think more can be done. That's my short answer. I think because if you look at the start of InvestSmart, right, the chairman of SC said that 900 million, was it, this year lost to scams. I'm sure a huge portion of that was in crypto. And I think personally for me, like if they can probably, if perhaps they could remind the public that, like if you continue to trade on all these unregulated websites, and if you come and report to us, we're not going to do anything about it because we have informed you over and over again. And this is why I think back to the point that David made, to be regulated is it's not a it's not a one-day thing, right? We took 6 months, some of us 9 months to get through it. And at the end of the day, when you're trading on unregulated websites, anything can happen. I mean, there's so many examples of it, like what Chi was saying, right? There was one exchange in Canada where one day the CEO disappeared and supposedly died in India, and we're not talking about pocket change here, right? We're talking 100 million USD. So I think sometimes when the sum amount grows too big, like everyone has that temptation to play God, right? And the regulators are there to keep us in check, make us responsible that we don't go and do things like that.
Yeah. I think I will add on a bit. I think the like what Kevin said on the regulation, and also on, I think regulation is there, right? That's why we are being regulated and the industry is being regulated right now. But on the legal side, I think globally, I think even not just legal, even accounting treatment on crypto is still an ongoing debate, and also a lot of discussion has to be made, right? So I think it will take time, right? But I think we have a good start. I think the key thing to see whether one industry has a future or not is always come whether the industry is being regulated by the regulators or not, because it takes a lot of seriousness and resources and time to study on that domain and to embrace that. So I think from that angle, at least I think the audience who ask this, which concern whether this crypto thing will last for the next few years or not, my answer can be very firmly and very confidently to let you know that this industry and this crypto thing is here to stay for very, very long, right? And throughout all this time, the legal side and also a lot of regulation will firm up, and also will be much more matured, and yeah, I think that's the direction, right?
Yeah. So just to add on to okay, Kelvin, go ahead.
I just want to let everyone know that just last weekend, right, we had this girl who basically was taking the module for CPA, Certified Public Accountant, Australia, right? And crypto is in the final exam, right? And it's also in CFA, Certified Financial Analyst.
Yes.
So crypto is here to stay.
Yeah, so I'm going to add on a little bit, right, on the legal side of things, on whether the current regulation is sufficient enough to regulate. The short answer is no. If you are students of the law, you always know that regulation always is introduced in response to what is going on in the market, right? So SC adopts a activity-based regulation. Right now, we have the guidelines that's introduced by SC that looks after, regulates the trading activity between, between users within the platform. So any trading activities in Malaysia, right, be it Bitcoin to Ethereum, Ringgit to Bitcoin, whichever it is, and any parties is facilitating those transactions is regulated, right? And if you do not have an approval or a license from the SC, you cannot do so, right? Now, there are a lot of other activities that has become very popular in the crypto space. So for example, as I mentioned earlier, people use crypto to raise funds. So we have what we call the initial coin offering, right? Some call it the IEO, the initial exchange offering. But it kind of means the same thing, where people use crypto to raise funds from anyone around the world. Now that regulation is already introduced, and the SC is looking to enforce it sometime this quarter. So if you're looking to raise funds with cryptocurrency, feel free to go to the SC website, check out the regulation and understand a little bit more on how to do so. There are also a lot of other cool, sexy stuff that's came out into crypto, right? So for example, we have margin lending, we have stablecoin, we have like this, so many different things, right? I can't name it. These are just a couple of main big ones. Has regulation catch up to this? Not yet. Definitely not yet. Obviously, we three of us are constantly in conversations to see how we can, get regulations, have conversation with regulators. Also, I think regulators are also looking into it. By the way, they are very well aware of what's going on in the market, and hopefully we can start seeing those things come into the picture, right? And this kind of answers the next question: why do Malaysia regular exchange did not provide stable coin or futures, such as Binance, right? And this is it, right? The regulations doesn't cover it yet. We can't do it until a framework has been put in place by the regulators, right? And I think the regulators are very aware of this, and I'm pretty sure that they have a lot of discussions around it as well. Okay, let me move to the next question. Okay, let's go back to a little bit of basic. How much would it cost to trade crypto?
Yeah,
what are the fees?
So David, maybe you want to start first, like on Luno.
What's
the minimum? I mean, that's one of your questions that you want to cover also today. Just nice the audience help.
Yeah. So I would always say that you can compare all three platforms, but at least for Luno, it's a volume-based fee. The more you trade, the cheaper you get, and the fees ranges from 0.8% all the way down to 0.2%, and in some cases, for VIP customers, we give even better fees to them as well. So you can check out our website to find out more.
Yeah, Kevin, if you don't mind, I will try to share on Tokenize. Yeah, so for Tokenize, right, you can trade at any amount, but the minimum deposit for Ringgit is 100 Ringgit, and there's a minimum fee where you can check on our website. And the fee-wise, it varies from 0.8%. And also, just like Luno, right, it's a volume-based. The more you trade, then the lower the fees can get, right? Yeah, Kevin.
So same thing. We're all around there. I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna go into that maker-taker stuff, but the fee structure is pretty standard across the three players. Some price, some difference, but in our case, we actually don't use the volume-based approach. That means we make it like flat taker fee and flat maker fee where you can earn a trading rebate. But yeah, so it's around there. And minimum trade value, I believe, is 20 Ringgit on our platform. Yeah.
Okay. This also leads to the next question, right? What's the minimum amount to invest? If you want to invest in any crypto, what's the minimum amount?
I mean, ours is like 20 Ringgit where you can start that journey with 20 Ringgit.
Yeah, for us, we never debate, right? You can even invest with 1 Ringgit, or even 50 cents. But the thing is, our minimum trading fee is 10 cents. So the lower amount of your investment, it make the trading fee, it make the trading fee percentage higher, right?
Yeah. Okay. So in Luno, you can invest as low as 3 Ringgit into Bitcoin, right? But I think that's the beauty of the technology, Bitcoin. You actually don't have to buy one Bitcoin. That's very expensive. Bitcoin can be broken down by decimals, and it's actually to the 8th decimal, and that allows you to buy very, very minimal amount for as low as 5, 10, or 3 Ringgit even, right? And we always advise investors to start small. Start small, buy 10 Ringgit, 50 Ringgit, 100 Ringgit, whatever that you're comfortable with. And then that allows you to put, once you invest in something, then you put your heart into it, right? So that allows you to start looking into understanding what the technology is about, what's the use case, why is it different, and why the demand has been surging. And then as you get a lot more comfortable, then you can start, ramping up as you see fit. There is another question. So which one should I invest in first? Bitcoin, Ripple, or any other, or Litecoin? What do you guys think?
Bitcoin lah.
Yeah. So that's what I'll say as well. If you're a new investor to cryptocurrency, always look at Bitcoin. Simply because it has the biggest market capitalization compared to all other cryptos around the world. I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's still accounting about 50% of the market cap, compared to all.
I think.
Yeah, correct.
50+%, yeah.
Correct. Okay. So this is an interesting question. So how does the platform make sure that the documents that the customer submit is not misused?
Yeah, so maybe I'll try to take that one, right?
I'm always dumping the difficult question, you guys.
On the IT side, I think we take the document storage very seriously. We use Amazon Web Services to put all the measure in place, highly secure, right? And for our staff, all our staff that we hire, they will be same process on the KYC that we go through with the user to ensure they uphold very high ethic and training provided to them to ensure all the document that they manage and all the communication channel is highly secure, right? So, and there is no commercial usage on anything on the document side, right? Which is not allowed. We uphold PDPA also, right? PDPA Act. So we take all these things seriously, especially we are regulated players. Yeah. So, yeah.
Anything else to add, Kelvin?
Yeah, so I mean, just to echo what Chiyu said, right? A lot of this information is actually kept online on our platform. We don't even print it out, and obviously, if those information becomes compromised, it means that we've had a security breach, lah. Yeah, it's as safe as that. And to repeat what Chiyu said, also there's that PDPA Act that we adhere to. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's not in our business interest to sell data, and also obviously it's illegal. If any one of us do it, then we can get jailed for it. So you have the founder's word here that none of that nonsense will happen. Yeah, we're here to build a business over the long run. So we have an anonymous question, right? A little bit more philosophical. Any thought of Bitcoin to serve its original purpose as a currency or a currency exchange instead of an investment? What do you guys think? Has Bitcoin served its purpose? Will it serve its purpose? Will it not?
I think this is a long debatable topic, right? Like people talk about, is it for payment? Is it for storage of value? Maybe Kevin, you want to start first, or?
Okay. So we talk about. I mean, David made this example where of course, you can use crypto to do remittance, right? Regardless of where you are in the world, to use Bitcoin, to send Bitcoin takes definitely less than 1 hour. We all know that when it comes to Swift transfer and so on, it usually takes longer, right? But when you talk about payment, right, because of the blockchain confirmation that's involved when you send crypto, so let's just say you need 6 confirmation or 3 or 6 confirmation, it will take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. So as a payment, the blockchain is not efficient yet. The Bitcoin blockchain is not efficient for that. It's still easier to use your touch and go e-wallet to buy the coffee, because the database that they use is actually an in-house database that, of course, does not rely on a blockchain, right? So I think for me personally, the Bitcoin should serve the larger purpose first, right? Like for the remittance stuff and all that before we even go into the payment stuff, because that might happen later when the blockchain upgrades and it's able to handle more transaction. But for now, I would say definitely I see it more as an asset.
So for me, maybe I want to add on how I see Bitcoin now, where there's this terminology called storage of value is something that I really agree, and I'm a firm believer of that, right? Because the idea of Bitcoin, the maximum of units that you can actually have, evolve with the time is only 21 million, right? Even gold today is a scarcity kind of asset. We still don't know what is the maximum supply, right? There are still maybe a handful of gold still underneath of the earth that yet to be discovered. But Bitcoin is very clear cut and transparent. There's only 21 million of it. So this is one portion. We talk about scarcity that we can due to for investment. But another side is also Bitcoin is the first project of the blockchain, and I think even after 11 years, surprisingly, after more than a decade, it's still something for the audience here. Even if you haven't hands-on on the crypto, you haven't invested in crypto, for you to explore, right? For you to come to our world, then you understand what is blockchain. Throughout buying Bitcoin, then transferring from one source to that destination. So I think on that, I feel that it really serves a lot of utility and also on the investment aspect purposes, right? But I don't think the whole industry stop here, right? You can always see like what David tried to articulate on IEO, right? Where the Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency, already demonstrate a few years back, there is a mean for you to do a smart contract in the blockchain. You can utilize on the supply chain. You can do even property smart contract or even living or even will, right? There are a lot of applications yet to discover, and I think in the time to come, we can see all these things booming. Yeah.
Yep. So thanks for adding that. I think this also answers one of the questions here, right? How did crypto emerge and why it suddenly become a trading investment asset? I think it goes back to what Hong and Kelvin both have said, right? Bitcoin was one of the first use case created based on blockchain technology, but because of its limited supply, the founder has actually designed it to hedge against inflation. He doesn't want it to be inflationary like other currencies, so he has actually kept a fixed number of supply that will ever be created by the blockchain. And as a result of that, a lot of people, because of limited supply and increase in demand in terms of use cases, the price of Bitcoin has gained momentum, like very consistently over the past 10 years. So because of Bitcoin, then the use case of Bitcoin using the blockchain technology, a lot of people have started innovating. So guys like Vitalik Buterin created Ethereum. You have a lot of other people who say, oh, you know what, Bitcoin is not as good to be used as a payment. Then maybe they'll create a separate one, on a separate blockchain that is much better, like for example, such as Litecoin. Some have even said, okay, you know what, Litecoin is not good enough. Can we instead back it with a real asset class, such as actual currency? So stablecoin comes into the picture. So you have USDT, USDC. These are the popular stablecoin that's being used overseas, that behaves a lot more like a currency and doesn't fluctuate as much as Bitcoin. So a lot of cool, sexy stuff happening. We can go on and on, but you have to really start exploring and dipping your hands into it to learn about it, lah. Okay, let me see if there's any good question here. Give me a second, guys. I think we've covered most of the basic question. Is it difficult to open an account? No, very easy. 3 platforms. Yeah, you'll get your account within the same day.
But David, I think there's one very interesting question, which I think I got shared before. But there are too many questions, but if I cannot recall wrongly, right, there's one question thought about, is there a possibility for our liquidity between 3 exchanges being combined? So the user, no matter go to which platform, right, they can actually enjoy 3 liquidity, the combined liquidity pool, which I think I actually share with all my peers here, that we will have a session to discuss this, right? I think this will be very interesting to explore and see how we can bring our industry to the next level. Yeah, just want to just see that there's this question from the audience and want to raise this. Yeah.
Sure. We have 5 more minutes before the session ends, so please ask any more last minute questions that you have on Slido. I'll try to screen it and pick it up. There's a question from Salina. Between Bursa trading, stock trading versus cryptocurrency trading, which one is more volatile? Maybe Kelvin can take it.
Yeah, from the stock market perspective.
But I also want to say one thing. So compared to the other crypto exchanges in the world, crypto can obviously be down 40-50%, right? But on the digital asset exchange that is regulated in Malaysia, we actually have a circuit breaker that's built into the exchange. So if the price were to fall below a certain percentage, the trading will halt, and then it will give you time to digest information to see whether you want to cancel your existing order or even to continue trading.
Yeah, but I think I really have that kind of same perception like Kelvin. if before this year, but this year is a crazy year for the stock market also. Like we talk about Tesla, flip 4 or 5 times. We talk about Top Glove 10 times
rubber glove.
and more. So I was like, I think volatility is always there for any kind of investment, right? But crypto, like what Kevin shared, is that it can go in I think in 1.7 it really from 1,000 to 20,000 20 times. Then when it crash, when it correct, the price really up to, we are looking more around 80%. Price range. So it's very important to understand the history record, although the history doesn't, guarantee the future or indicate the future performance. So still, manage the risk well, always invest in an amount that you can afford to lose, right? Put only not exceeding 5% of your whole portfolio for crypto. I think all these are safe measures.
Yeah. There's another question: how to trade cross-platform? So I'll take this. Very easy. Again, you just need to sign up on all of our platforms, put an account with us.
Yes.
Then you can deposit or fund your account in ringgit with any one of us, and you can start trading cross-pair. But if you're asking about how to arbitrage, usually what people do is they open accounts with multiple exchanges. They will fund one of the few accounts with ringgit. And then they'll buy Bitcoin. And if they see a lower price in another exchange, they'll send the Bitcoin to that exchange, and then they sell for ringgit as well. So that's how you arbitrage between exchanges. Okay, one guy made a statement: please add margin lending to your platform. Noted. We will think about it. We will.
Just not 100x.
Yeah, I think it's an ongoing conversation, definitely, and I'm sure the regulators are looking into it as well. Is there a Bitcoin ATM in Malaysia? Ling asked this question. You guys want to answer this quickly?
For me, I really don't know. I'm not aware of it. I heard that there are Bitcoin ATM previously, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah, I can answer actually. There was some guys who tried to introduce it, but it's not allowed. Simply because the regulation does not allow anyone to buy crypto with cash. That is a money laundering risk, and it's not allowed by regulators, which is why regulators prefer you guys to use a platform instead and do everything online. So then that safeguards all the users in Malaysia from receiving crypto from illegal activities. Okay, I think I'm going to roll all the way down here. Hold on. Other than risk takers, who else are not suitable to invest in crypto? It's a
risk taker.
I think, can I be honest and say that beyond maybe 60 retirement age, if you don't know how to secure your phone properly using things like Google two-factor authentication, then perhaps leave it to the younger generation. And only because I think we've all encountered an issue with users who are who don't know how to secure their phone or even their passwords, and they end up being scammed in that manner. So that's my honest answer.
Yeah, Hong, you have anything else to add quickly before I move to the last one?
Yeah. I think it's what Kevin shared is a challenge, but for me, I think for tokenized, we really encourage all age group. So we will try to find a way to bridge that gap. But yeah, just I think that the key baseline is invest whatever amount you can lose. Don't think that 100 ringgit is a small amount and not worth to start. If 100 ringgit is something you're comfortable, start with 100 ringgit, right? And if even you lost this 100 ringgit, you won't have a sleepless night over it. So let's be that, use that as a starting point. Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. Pass back to David. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Last question from Eng Siu Ki. I'll take this if you guys don't mind. If an investor passed away, how do they transfer their crypto to others? I think I can speak for everyone here. We do have a policy in place, at least among the regular exchanges, where we have a process written out on how to deal with deceased, people who passed away, even though they have crypto stored with us, right? And the law of Malaysia applies, obviously. If there's a will, then the executor of the will need to basically execute it and come to us proof identity, proof you know, that you have gone through legal means to assert your right over that asset, then we will act according to the law, right? But again, the same treatment might not be the same if you use a regulated platform overseas, but at least in regulated platforms, we will follow the law to the letter lah. So that should cover everything. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for these very interesting questions. I think we really appreciate it. As mentioned, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us on LinkedIn. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions there, especially some Luno-based questions. Thanks for these questions. I will reach out to me, please, and I will answer that to you directly.
So guys, don't mind me. I just paste our social media, Facebook. Just follow our Facebook page and keep in touch with us. Sorry, David.
Okay.
Back to you.
David, thanks for moderating the session.
No worries. Hold on. I need to make one last announcement. Before you leave, you know, we will have a pop quiz. As is going to roll a pop quiz, please answer them. There'll be interesting gifts that will be awarded. So do check out that pop quiz. And I think that's it. Thanks for your time. Hope you have enjoyable remaining evening on your lovely Sunday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.